Hi there, my name's Leslie Hunter. Thank you for clicking on my video to watch how you can learn how to shop for a low salt or salt-free diet. So a little background information. I am a nurse who regularly educates my patients on how to follow a salt-free diet. But I didn't realize how hard it was until I actually had to shop that way myself. So I've come up with this little video on how to help you pick good basics, good salt-free staples to keep in your house in order to try to stay with a low salt or salt-free diet. Some conditions that require a salt-free diet are hypertension or high blood pressure, heart failure, kidney disease, diabetes, and if you want to lose weight, it's always a good idea to lay off the salt a little bit because that can cause water retention. Here's some statistics here about how high blood pressure, how it affects people in America. Um, as you can see here, 65% of the salt that we get, it comes from the supermarkets and convenience stores. Another interesting fact is that kids who have a high sodium diet are twice as likely to develop high blood pressure. So starting this kind of diet off for your entire family and not just for the one who already has one of the conditions I mentioned earlier is probably a good idea. So how much sodium do you really need? Dietary guidelines for the regular Joe, me or you, if you're shopping for this person, is about 2,300 to 3,000 milligrams of sodium a day. If you have a condition that you have to have a lower salt intake, it would probably be about 1,500, but your doctor or dietitian can give you exact numbers about how much you really need. How do you know if you're eating too much salt? Well, take a look at your patterns and your routines. Do you eat out several times a week? Do you buy food that's canned or boxed, bagged or bottled or jarred? How many fruits and vegetables do you eat a day? Do you cook your meals yourself, or do you go out to eat all the time, or does someone else cook them for you? Um, what you might not know is that over 77% of the salt you come from is from processed food. Less than 10% comes from a salt shaker. So people who say, I don't shake that salt, that doesn't matter. That's not where most of it comes from. Most people eat more than 3,000 milligrams a day. I know I did in the past, but I didn't realize it until I had to start shopping that way. So now to do the grocery shopping, you might be asking, what can you eat? If I've told you already to stay away from those processed foods, canned foods, lunch meats have a ton of sodium in them, prepackaged foods and frozen meals. So what's left? You should be getting your fruits and vegetables every day. Fresh is always best. The canning process can add a lot of sodium to be able to preserve those vegetables. So try to stick with the fresh fruits and veggies. The majority of fruits and vegetables are very low in sodium, but again, once you process them, you're adding the sodium in. If you stock your fridge and your cabinets with low salt basics, then you'll already be way ahead of the game. You'll have those needed ingredients that you probably didn't even realize were adding to your salt intake every day, but you start off with low ingredients and you can go from there depending on your recipes or your cooking habits. So while sitting in the grocery store one day, I went through pretty much all the aisles and I found a bunch of products that we typically buy, most people typically buy, and I have come up with alternatives to what your normal purchases would be to help to keep to that low salt diet. So I'll start with the crackers. As you can see that regular crackers, there's about 140 milligrams of sodium for 6 crackers, whereas a rice cracker will have 60 milligrams for 16 crackers. That's almost 3 times as many for a third of the milligrams of salt. Cheerios we always think is a good choice, and they are a good choice. They help to lower cholesterol. I think there's been a ton of studies done on why they're a better choice. There's no extra added sugar or preservatives, but they do have 160 milligrams of sodium per 3/4 of a cup, whereas mini wheats, and this really goes for any box of mini wheats, any flavor, has 0 milligrams. That's a lot more cereal you can have with the mini wheats than with the Cheerios. Any type of pre-packaged seasoning is going to have a lot of sodium. That's unless it specifically says 0 sodium or no sodium. This taco mix from McCormick, something that I always used in the past, has 460 milligrams for 2 teaspoons of mix. You really have to look at serving sizes when you're looking at these packages as well, because 2 teaspoons is the serving size. This package has probably about 8 servings in it. A better option would be this mild 30% less sodium package, which only has 310 milligrams for 2 teaspoons. But I couldn't find them while I was doing the shopping for this presentation, but McCormick actually does carry a no sodium mix. They have several different kinds, taco, pot roast, what have you, whatever you're making. There are options, you just have to look for them a little bit. And they are specifically marked no sodium. Pasta as a meal or as a side dish is always a good option. Pretty much every pasta has 0 milligrams of sodium per serving. Tomato sauce is a hard one. We like to buy those jarred sauces when we're in a hurry, but they're not always a good choice. As an example right here, Hunt's has a sauce in a can. It has 410 milligrams per 1/4 cup. That's about average for a canned or a bottled sauce. But they do sell a no salt alternative, which has just 10 milligrams per 1/4 cup. I know it's kind of bland when you first open it, but you can add other seasonings, garlic, onion powder, a little sugar. You can add anything you want to it, Italian seasonings to kind of spice it up and make it taste better. Breadcrumbs are a huge staple. Meatloaf, breading chicken, you do all kinds of things with breadcrumbs. An average 1/3 cup of breadcrumbs is 630 milligrams. You figure you cover your chicken with a 1/3 cup of breadcrumbs, that's more than you should have in an entire meal. So a better alternative is the salt-free. From 4C makes a salt-free. I'm not sure if other brands do, but if you can't find this, look for a panko breadcrumb. Panko breadcrumbs typically have about 40 milligrams of sodium in a 1/2 cup. So they are a good alternative if you can't find the salt-free brand. However, stay away from the seasoned ones because that's where a lot of your sodium is going to come from. I don't know if you like tortillas, but we like to do quesadillas in my house. We like to do wraps for sandwiches in my house. Corn is always a better option. With the flour tortillas, you get about 260 milligrams. And these are the small tortillas. They're not the big ones. So if you stick with a corn one, you can have a lot more wraps for just 10 milligrams each. As rice as a side dish is a healthy idea, better than pasta. Still has carbs in it, but as you can see, any of these pre-made or pre-seasoned rices in the boxes have a lot of sodium per 1/4 cup. Uncle Ben's has 650 milligrams. That's average. It's not just Uncle Ben's specific. Look for brands that have much less. This Royal Blend here has 0 milligrams per 1/4 cup, and I can tell you it's pretty tasty. Canned meats are never a good choice. I know this is kind of a blurry picture, but I couldn't get a clear enough one, and there's just about everything in here. Spam and little sausages. There's all kinds of different canned meats. They are all loaded with sodium. Not a good choice at all. Soy sauce. It doesn't really matter if you get the regular soy sauce or the low sodium soy sauce. There's still a ton regardless. If you have to use it for a recipe, I definitely go with the less sodium, which only has 575 as opposed to the 920 in a regular soy sauce. Salad dressings and marinades are hard. Best choices is just plain old olive oil and vinegar. 0 milligrams in both of them. You could have as much as you want. This salad dressing, balsamic vinaigrette, great for marinating. A lot of them are, and my household we're big dippers too, so it's a hard thing when you have this much sodium and just 2 tablespoons. Um, the creamier the dressings, usually the more milligrams of sodium they have. So basically, I have looked at about every single salad dressing on the shelf, and your best choice is going to be the oil and vinegar. Ketchup. Ketchup, I think my husband drinks ketchup sometimes. So ketchup was a really hard thing for us. But there is a no salt alternative that has just 5 milligrams per tablespoon, whereas normal ketchup is 160. I also use this ketchup to make my own barbecue sauce. They have some great recipes online on how to make no salt barbecue sauce. It's a little bit time consuming, but you can whip right through it after you've done it a couple times. I don't even need a recipe now. Any soups or broths or chicken stock? We have Thanksgiving coming up and we're going to be using a lot of this with cooking. So try to stay with the low salt or unsalted chicken broth. There still is 95 milligrams per cup, but you're much better off than buying the regular chicken stock. Also, stay away from canned soups. There is each can has 2 servings in it, and each serving has over about 500 milligrams of sodium. When you're looking for a beverage, water's always the best choice with 0 milligrams of sodium or really any other additive. If you have to buy soda, I'd go with the flavored water. Flavored water has 5 milligrams versus the 60 milligrams for a soda. Popcorn's something we all snack on. We all like the movies. Go with the light natural style with just 25 milligrams per serving, as opposed to the movie theater butter, which has tons of sodium at 250 milligrams per serving. And let's face it, who eats just 1 serving of popcorn? Chips. I really like these no salt added Utz chips. I bought them out of necessity, but I've really come to enjoy them. You can save yourself tons of sodium by just buying the low salt or no salt unsalted butter. 0 milligrams. Swiss cheese is very low sodium. Basically, any other cheese is going to have 125 to upwards of 300 per slice. Frozen meatballs are a big no-no. I mean, who can eat 1 meatball? You're better off making your own. Bread has a lot of sodium. You wouldn't think so, but it does. This butter bread, Sara Lee, has only 105 milligrams per slice. That goes for any kind of rolls also, so I'd stick with the bread. Peanut butter is a staple we all need. Lots of protein in it. The regular peanut butter is okay if you stick with just its serving size of 2 tablespoons, but if you eat more than that, like to put it on your veggies or something, I'd go with the unsalted. Low salt shopping is not easy. These products I've introduced to you are just a few staples that you can add to your diet that can help lower your salt intake and make a healthier family. Thank you for listening, and I hope that my tips have inspired you to eat low salt.